mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this at all, you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I reappear. You got some money on the line, you better put it here. Rolling in and doing that work. Check priorities, I'm doing that first. Them checks big and I'm sure that hurts. But it's checkmate, we ain't selling short, no the work. Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the work.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dane from NYYU. We'd like to welcome you to the Farm Report. Los, how you doing, big buddy?
I'm good. I'm doing good, Dane. How are you?
Good. It's good to see your face. I've been looking at some other people a lot lately, and I missed you. So,
you've been busy.
I've been busy a little bit. So the first thing we wanted to jump into is your boy is ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
He was throwing a little bit in the outfield yesterday. He's hanging around Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
If he's back early, like they're talking about, what do you think that happens with him?
Honestly, I can see them sending him to AAA for a rehab stint, maybe even start him at AA.
Yeah.
Although Yankees typically send you to like Tampa and then push you back up slowly. They've done that with Austin Wells. I've seen them do that with Austin Wells, a couple other guys, but part of me feels like they're not going to call him up right away, even if he's ready. They're probably going to wait on him a little bit because he does tend to be a slow starter. So I could see him being ready, but them not calling him up yet.
I don't think they'll call him up before May 15th because of the extra year of control.
Well, I don't think they can anyways. I don't think they can anyways because he's on the 60-day DL.
Oh, that's right. So when would he be back?
I think the earliest he can come back is the end of May. I'm not sure the exact date, but it's probably the end of May.
Now, if he's back, let's just say July 1st. That's when I still think is his date.
That's always been my date, but by what I'm seeing of him as of late, it wouldn't surprise me if he's available earlier.
So what happens in that outfield? We have Soto, we have Grisham, we have Verdugo, we have Judge. Jasson is a huge part of what this team's going to be in the future. What do we do?
Well, first, I think Grisham is probably the immediate odd man out. He's probably the most obvious choice to be the odd man out. I mean, I know some people have said that, they expect him to surprise, or don't be surprised if he plays well. But being the fact that Verdugo probably makes a lot more money than he does, Jace is the future. I can see he's being the odd man out, unfortunately.
I think that's probably true. Jasson can play all three outfield positions well enough, so he could be the fourth outfielder, rotate between. But I still want to see him batting leadoff as soon as possible. I think that him at the top of this lineup would transform it. I just think that they got to do something with Verdugo.
Yeah, I would be excited just to see the amount of fastballs he's going to get fed if he's hitting in front of Soto. That lineup starting with Dominguez, Soto, then Judge would just be probably one of the most formidable 1, 2, and 3 that I've ever seen. I mean, I can't really think of another 1, 2, 3 that looks so good on paper.
The last one I can think of was A-Rod, Griffey, and Edgar Martinez.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's an awesome 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, actually, it was 2, 3, 4 back in those days. But they move everybody up these days. Now, jumping into another outfielder that we saw called up late last year, Everson Pereira. He's buried behind the 4 guys we just talked about, plus Dom. I mean, what is his outlook, future?
It doesn't look good from where I'm standing. It doesn't look good. The only hope for him is that he plays well in spring training and hopefully he gets traded to a team where he actually gets playing time because I don't see him playing over Verdugo. I don't see him playing
No.
over Grisham as well either. And even if he was, the minute he struggles, he's going back to Scranton. And
Hmm.
that could be ultimately where I'm expecting him to start, Scranton.
I think he's going to spend the first half in Scranton and then probably end up traded at the deadline for
Mhm.
something. I mean,
I
he's
mean,
still
and
a,
that's a shame because he crushed Scranton when he was there.
oh, he did. He crushed double A and triple A
Mhm.
last year and he hit the heck out of the ball. He was really good.
I think he was the sole 300 hitter in the organization that qualified, from what I
Yeah,
remember.
I believe that he was.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's disappointing because we've been following him for so long. We wanted to see
Mhm.
what he would turn into, but I think it's going to be with another organization. I just don't see him getting a shot here with Jasson and Soto and Judge and Jones on
Yeah,
the
and
way.
the guys they brought in, and Jones is coming up behind him as well. Yeah, I don't see where he fits in, unfortunately. And I would have liked to have seen him get a season here, but I just don't see how he's going to get 400 or 500 at bats.
Now, that brings up another interesting spring training point. Did you see John Carlos Stanton?
I did. I think he has a more crouched batting stance now.
No, he's more upright, I think.
Oh, he's upright. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Mhm.
You have any hope?
No,
None.
no, I don't. I just don't. I mean, we've had this conversation before. I think Stanton he's a nice guy. I wish him the best. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. I've just I've seen this show before. I
Right.
have, and I know that he's leaner, so that supposedly is going to make him more flexible. I just I'm over it. I'm over
Yeah.
it. What
I
I'm expecting from him is another, you know, 200 hits about 200. Maybe he hits 25 home runs. Definitely a DL stint and a half. Plays maybe 120 games, maybe. That's what I'm expecting from him.
if he gets 120 games, I'd be pretty happy actually. I
Uh,
just
I mean, if he's hitting 200, I'm not.
oh
I'm
yeah, no
not.
kidding.
No, I'm not. Like I said, I mean, I hope he proves me wrong, but I just, I am of very little faith that any of this is going to mean anything. I mean, I think he is who he is, and we've seen it for the last season and a
Yeah.
half.
I just think that they need to get rid of him. I don't know how they're going to do it, but there's so many exciting players with Jasson and Jones and those guys up and away, and they
Mhm.
have to keep Soto. They just have to re-sign him. So it there's really no place for him, unfortunately.
I mean, if it wasn't for that contract, I don't even think we would be having this conversation. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what the holdup is just that contract. Um, and I don't know what the Yankees can do about it. He has a no trade clause. He's got what another 4 years left on the deal, I think.
Yeah, four.
So they owe him about 100 million, I think, a little over 100
Uh-huh.
million, maybe.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would eat the money. I would just
Yeah.
eat the money, say thank you for your service. You've been great, but we're gonna move on now. But Cashman doesn't roll like that.
Would you do that right now, or would you give him a shot this season to see what he could be?
I would probably wait a little bit. I would wait to see how Jason's doing, by
Yeah, that's
June or
exactly
so.
how I feel.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that we saw a little bit yesterday was Anthony Volpe was in camp and he looked
Hmm.
like he changed his swing a little bit. So much more level swing,
Hmm.
and he just jacked a ball to right center field. That's exactly
Hmm.
where I want to see him hitting the
Yeah.
ball.
Hmm.
Do you think that a level swing changes his ceiling? Or not, maybe
Um,
not ceiling, but where we expect him to hit in this lineup?
where we expected to hit in line? Yeah, I think so. I think it does because if he cuts out, I mean, we've said this before. If he cuts out that uppercut swing, you're not just looking at a guy hitting 220, 230, 240.
Right.
I think he was going to be a 240 hitter, but with some pop, 20 plus home runs. But I mean, if
Yeah.
he has more level swing, I'll take less home runs with a higher, 30,
100%.
40% jump in batting average. Absolutely, because then you don't have to worry about him, I don't know what his whiff rate was last year.
It
Um,
wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I remember it was pretty bad, but I don't remember the exact number. But I mean, if he moves to a more level swing, you could see him on base a lot more, and he becomes more of a weapon now, right? Because ultimately we want him stealing 40, 50 bases.
Yeah, if he gets on base more, he profiles more like a leadoff hitter, which is what he
Yeah.
really, really should be
Yeah.
with his speed. And
And
if
he's
he
not a
could,
leadoff as he is. He's not a leadoff hitter. People stop
no,
saying put him at the top of the lineup. You do not want a guy that hits 200 at the top of your lineup.
no. And you and I watched a ton of him coming up. He had always
Hmm.
had that uppercut swing. He would get hot
Hmm.
and hit over 300 for a period of time, but he's never been someone who hit 300 consistently.
Yeah, that's why I've always said that I don't expect him to be a high average hitter. What I've always said was from jump was like he's going to be about a 240 hitter, and because of that, he prefers the power over the batting average.
Sorry, cough. Um, yeah, for sure. He seems to prefer that uppercut swing.
Hmm.
And as we saw last year, it didn't help his game at all. I
Hmm.
mean, he didn't get to use his natural ability on the bases to be
Yes,
that
that's and
kind of.
that's where a big part of his game is being on the bases and creating havoc. Annoying the pitcher. I mean,
I
but
re-
if he sticks with the level swing, that totally changes the outlook that I have for him. I hope that he can stick with it. Going from gap to gap, that'll be huge for him.
yeah, with that kind of speed, a ball in the gap, he's on third base. I
I mean,
he
you're talking
can.
about an all-star. You're talking about an
Yeah,
all-star. If he
yeah.
if he
I
can get the average up, 30, 40 points, uh, a slight dip in home runs, more extra base hits, more stolen bases, you're talking about a guy who could be in the vying for an all-star position.
I agree. I'm really after seeing that swing yesterday, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Hmm.
But the other guy who has jumped out to me is Austin Wells.
Hmm.
He has looked absolutely phenomenal in camp. I don't know if you saw him take Stroman deep.
I did.
And then Stroman was in the clubhouse saying, I'm glad you're on my team. I don't have to face you.
Hmm.
But what do you think? Do you think he's going to get them a shot like Volpe did last year? Really give
I don't
him
think
the
he's. I don't think. I
position?
don't think he's gonna get the same shot as Volpe got because Volpe was pretty
Okay.
much anointed, right? He was. I don't want to say he was handed the position because he won it outright, through spring training. But the Yankees were like, "This is our guy, and we're sticking with him no matter what," or so it seemed. I mean, I'm sure they had conversations about sending him back down by midseason, but they stuck with him, and I applaud them for that. I applaud them for sticking with him. As far as Wells, I mean, I think he's gonna have a shot to significantly increase his playing time while Trevino is out. So that bodes well for him. So hopefully he can take advantage of that.
I'm really hoping that he catches 3 days a week.
I hope so. I hope so.
I think he'll catch uh well or God my Rodon,
Hmm.
Stroman, and probably Schmidt because they've
Hmm.
worked together before coming up, and let Trevino handle Cole and Nestor. I
I'm
don't
fine
know.
with that. I'm fine with that. I mean, I've seen that before from the Yankees, with Girardi and Posada, before he
Uh-huh.
was handed off to him.
I the Yankees media team is really pushing Austin Wells this spring. They have him all over social media talking like they're trying to. It almost feels like they're trying to anoint him as well. At
Hmm.
least that's a feeling that I get. I really think that they want him to be a long-term piece of this team. And I
I
think
think
that
he can be.
I do
I
too.
think he can be.
I think he can be a 10-year starter for us.
Hmm. Yep.
And he's just built that left-hand swing is just built for Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, like I said, my hope is that he takes advantage of the time that he has right now, being the man, and he does well with it, and he earns more playing time. That's my hope for him.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's a 260, 270 hitter, 20 to 25 home runs.
I think when in the NYYU post regarding Wells' outlook for the season, I expected him like 255, 260 with anywhere from 16 to 20 home runs. That's my expectation for him.
And that's a borderline rookie of the year kind of season. if he has that as a catcher. I mean, you get offensive production from a catcher. That's a big deal these days.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to seeing if Wells can be that field general behind the plate and then
Hmm.
be that monster masher from the left side.
Hmm.
So Oswald Peraza,
Hmm.
what's that kid got to do to get a chance?
I haven't seen anything from him yet. I mean, granted, they've only reported just a day or two ago, but the only social media I've seen from him is, I think he worked on his body in the off season, hit the weights pretty hard because he looks a lot more thinner, more muscle. So I hope he gets he gets his chances. Especially being that he's behind DJ, he should get plenty of chances. Um, what the long-term prognosis is for him, that I don't know. That I don't know. I mean, because there's reports of the Yankees, courting Gio or something like that. I don't
Right.
know if that I don't know how true that is, but
The
it
reports
doesn't
that
bode well.
deal that the reports with Gio after they picked up that kid from the Marlins a couple days ago or a week
Oh,
ago.
you're talking about Jordan Groshans.
Yes,
Yeah, that Groshans thing again. That's not good for Peraza because he's just going to take at bats from him in spring training. I don't know what the long term is for him here.
I I don't want DJ at third base every day. I think that's a bad recipe for this team. He's
Hmm.
36 years old. Yes, he was better in the second half working with Sean Casey last year, but we really don't know that he can play every day and be healthy. I would like to see DJ more in that utility role that we signed him in
Hmm.
and give Praz a third base.
In a perfect world, yeah, that's definitely the outcome that I would have preferred to see. DJ plays, what, three, maybe four times a week all around the infield.
Yeah.
But he makes a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. Now, another guy that's been impressive in camp is Ben Rice. Have you seen how he's looked? What are your thoughts on Rice?
I saw the early videos from him, and he definitely has looked good. Another guy that I think could play a big role on this team, especially if Rizzo is not ready to go. He probably starts the season at Scranton, I think. And my hope for him there is that he continues what he was doing at Somerset. Granted, it's probably not going to be to the same effect because he was absolutely going crazy at Somerset,
Right.
but hopefully he's able to hit. He keeps the walk rate where it is. He doesn't the strikeouts don't get too crazy. Because like I said, if Rizzo goes down, he's probably the next guy, the next man up.
I would think so. He was so good last year,
Hmm.
but you and I both had the same discussion last year that we aren't 100% sold. We need to see it in another sample because he was
Hmm.
so hot just to finish the year.
Hmm.
And I think he's got to go to AAA and prove that that was at least somewhat real, that he's close to a 300 hitter, that he has 20, 25 home run power or more.
Hmm.
And maybe in the second half, he'll get a shot, depending on Rizzo's health.
Right.
But they have Stanton working out at first base a little bit, which I think is just asinine. But
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. They must want him to pull a groin early on. That's the only reason that I could see him there.
yeah, that's the only thing that I could get. But
I think that's about as real as when we saw Judge last spring training at first base.
good point. Good point. Now, speaking of another guy that size, Spencer Jones showed up in camp
Hmm.
and he looks like he's added some muscle. He looks
Hmm.
like he has worked on his swing. You haven't seen too many swings out there on social media, but there's been a
No.
few
Hmm.
and it looks a little shorter. I don't think it matters how well he does in spring training
No.
this year. It's kind of like Jasson Dominguez. There's absolutely no way he's going to make the team.
Yeah. No. Absolutely not. I don't think. So. I That's why when I think I don't know where I don't remember where it was, but I mentioned that it doesn't matter what he does in spring training. Hopefully he gets off on the right foot. He because ultimately for me, I'm mostly watching the pitchers
Right.
because those are the guys that have the clear path.
Right. So let's jump into some pitchers.
Hmm.
Will Warren, here and he looks absolutely fantastic. Clayton Beater, I've gotten reports that the curveball and changeup have been refined and the control looks better. If that's true, he's a real option. What are you expecting to see out of the young guys?
I think Chase Hampton goes today, by the way. So
Yeah.
I'm eager to see some video from today. But for me, it's all about Will Warren. You know, he's the guy that I think, and I have been saying that I think will surprise the most. Clayton Beater is going to be an option. So is Yoendrys Gomez. A lot of people are not talking about Yoendrys either, but those are the two forefront options, I think, because they're already on the 40 man. So they're the most obvious choices for the Yankees to call up or hopefully or maybe even make the team. So we'll see where it goes. But for me, I think it's Will Warren is the man to watch.
The other one that I'm curious to see is Luis Heel because
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have him start on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to try to keep him in the rotation at least early on.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you and I both have concerns about the innings and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing this year, but what do you think we can realistically expect from Heel?
Um, Hopefully it's a refined look of what he did the last time that we saw him. The last time we saw
Right.
him, maybe the command is a little bit better. That's what I'm hoping for. Because he's got the stuff. We've seen it.
Oh, yeah,
We've
we've
seen
seen
him,
this.
and we've seen him at the major league level. He's pitched well at this level. So my
I,
hope is that the command looks a little better.
I think if the command looks a little bit better, I still love him in the back of a bullpen role. I think
Hmm.
that that is where he ultimately ends up, and he could be Dellin Betances 2.0, something like that. I know that's a comp that we've talked about before,
Hmm.
but he's a power arm that you could put in the back of the bullpen, and he doesn't. You never saw him rattled on the major league mound. That's why
No.
I think that he has the mentality to close, is that he doesn't get up or down.
Hmm.
I don't know. I want to see more of Heel. I think that that group of pitchers is really, really going to surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, you get an argument from me there. Um, but like I said, I think Will Warren is the man to watch. I think he's the one that's probably gonna surprise the most. But yeah, I'm definitely optimistic for a few of these guys. I'm really eager to see what Chase Hampton does today, because he could potentially be an option that we see in the second half.
Now, one topic that's major league related that I wanted to get your opinion on. You've seen the Blake Snell rumors. You've seen
Uh-huh.
all that. What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on Snell? And do you think the Yankees end up with him?
I don't know if the Yankees end up with him. I don't think Hal is going to pay the kind of money that Blake Snell will command. I think Snell was what, 30, they offered him 30 million per year, I think it was.
Yeah,
Let's say you go a little bit more, 32. You're talking about 32 plus the taxes at 110%. So you're talking about paying him anywhere from 62 to 70 million dollars a season. And I know most people say, I don't care what the money is, the money's not there. Um, I don't see Steinbrenner shelling that out. I mean, and where's the crowd that was saying the same thing about like Yamamoto? Oh, you can't pay Yamamoto more than you pay Cole. Now
right.
now they're quiet on Snell, because Snell will be the same thing. You got to pay Snell, plus you got to double it up with the tax. And then we've talked about this before. It's going to cost a second, a fifth round pick. It's also going to affect the IFA pool money.
See, that's the biggest concern to me. I'm not too worried about the picks because the Yankees have done so well in later
Hmm.
rounds that they can make up for that, in my
Yes.
opinion. I'm not
Hmm.
worried about the picks, but the IFA money is something that is extremely hard to get back.
Hmm.
And with the talent that we have attached to in the next class, I don't want to lose those guys.
Yeah, I mean, in the next class, you have Castillo. We've spoken about before. He's going to command. We've been told around $3 million, let's say.
Right.
Then we just found out that there's another pitcher that's coming in that class as well that could command anywhere from 750 to $1 million. So you're looking at about
Really?
$4 million just on those two pitchers alone. That doesn't include, Manny Cedeno. I don't know how Cedeno's going to get, but I heard he was a seven-figure guy as well. So
And they've got about 5 million in bonus pool money right now. So
I think you start with about 5.1 mil.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they maybe look to move Nestor Cortez or something like that for more international free agency money.
I mean, the one thing I don't think a lot of teams are as willing to give up the IFA money. I mean, it depends, I guess, because something that a lot of people don't realize is that these relationships with IFA prospects are formed years in advance, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you would be able to trade Nestor Cortez for IFA money. I mean, I would hope so if that's the case. Then yeah. I mean, when who was it that just got traded? Uh,
Billy
the
McKinney
D
for the
No, not Billy McKinney. The Yankees just made him. Oh, they traded the DFA Mac Crook.
yeah.
That's the first thing that I looked for when I saw it was for cash. I was like, is it IFA money? Is it IFA money? That's the first thing I went to look at, and it wasn't.
Yeah. No, the Orioles aren't going to give up IFA money.
Definitely not. No.
They're getting way too good at that. I mean, that's a great segue into what scares me about losing the IFA money. Samuel Basallo. Yeah. He was ours.
Yeah.
And we lost $1 million for something, and now he's the number 3 prospect in the Orioles.
I think it was, wasn't it the Rodon signing? I think it was the Rodon signing.
Was it last? I don't remember.
Whatever it was one of those free agents the Yankees signed with a qualifying offer, cost them $1 million, and they had to give up Basallo, who's now rated as the 10th overall prospect on Baseball America's Top 100.
Right. And I think Castillo can be that kind of player as well. He's just special from the videos that we've seen and what we've heard from the scouts and all that. Losing him would be a massive blow.
Yeah, it definitely would change the IFA class for the Yankees for next season if they weren't able to sign him.
Yeah. So I'm more inclined, especially with as good as Rodon and Stroman have looked early on. I'm more inclined to go with what they have, and
absolutely. I'm ready to just say, yo, let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice with what the Yankees are putting out there right now. And let's see, where we are come, June or at the trade deadline and see if maybe the Yankees could pivot to make a move at that point. But I mean, let's at least see if someone from the starting rotation falters, let's at least give Clayton Beeter the chance, give Will Warren the chance. I mean, you've had a vaulted a crop of pitching prospects, the best that I have ever seen.
Yes.
Let's put that to use. Let's put that to use. You have to at some point promote some of these kids.
Absolutely. You have to let them get experience because we got a lot of guys that are on 1-year deals, and we're going to need kids to fill in those roles next year. You got to find out what we have in some of them. So I don't know. I'm excited for the year. I'm excited for spring training. Yankees baseball is back, and I'm just thrilled.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'll be going to my first spring training this year. What is it, a couple weeks now? So I'm excited.
Yeah. And we're going to have lives from when you're down there. We're going to do scouting.
Yeah, I'll still come on.
Yeah. And we're going to do scouting reports and talk about what you've seen. If you can get some players on, maybe that would be awesome. Whatever. What do you have going on the rest of this week? Do you have any videos coming?
I can't. I know I have a bunch of videos to put out still. I don't remember who I have. I have a list that I have to look at, but yeah, I still have a bunch of off-season workout videos to put out.
Okay. I'm hitting the website real hard, getting a bunch of articles I have published. Those will be up in the next 3 or 4 days. And of course you can catch us next week on the Farm Report. Lois, do you have anything else you want to go into?
No, I think that's it for now.
Guys, smack that like button for us on the way out. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Lois.
All right, guys. Later, guys. Later, Dan.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. Bought a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I've been up next. Can't take calls, but I send that text. From way downtown, but the shit's still wet.